Human Worth. So that's the group that you're part of?
Yeah, that's the group that my dad came up with. There's also another bigger group called New Fathers for Justice, which is kind of an offshoot of Fathers from Fathers for Justice, who are kind of disheartened by the leadership of Fathers for Justice, and therefore they formed their own little group, who we are associated with as well.
So you're part of that group as well?
Yeah.
Why did you join those groups?
Me personally, since I've known my father, since I've known him in my adult life, I met him when I was 14 again, after not seeing him since I was 6 or 7. Since then, I've come to appreciate the lack of fathers' rights in terms of parental rights when children are delegated to either parent via a family court. The reason why I joined was because I think it's unfair of what happens to fathers when they suffer a divorce and there are children involved, because about, let's say, 90 to 95% of the time, we don't have actual statistics because of the way the family courts operate. They're not open like normal criminal courts. They're closed off and you can't report on most aspects of them. The reason why I have sympathy with the fathers movement is because in the vast majority of cases, 90 to 95%, children do not go to their father, but they go solely to their mother. I mean, the best a father can hope for is contact once every fortnight on the weekends. So we're talking, 4 or 5 days in this period of a month? Basically nothing. So I think that's terribly wrong, and that's why I like climbing buildings, to try and prevent that.
Can you relate to it?
Can I relate? Yes, I can relate to it. Obviously, I can relate to it from the child's point of view. So I didn't see my father from the ages of 6 or 7 to the age of 14. That was the period I had no contact with him. From the age of 5 to 6, I had very, very little contact with him. I was taken to Tanzania in East Africa. I didn't see him for 5 months then. When I was brought back to Britain, I barely saw him after that. And as I say, from 6 or 7 onwards, I never saw him. So yes, I fully sympathise from the child's point of view. I know how horrible that can be, obviously from my point of view. From the father's point of view, I've seen not just my father, but countless other fathers' lives be destroyed. These are people who have decent jobs. My father was, I think he would say he attained middle class status by the time we separated, and now lives in a kind of semi barbaric state. Really, I mean, it's quite shocking what's happened to him. His house is in disarray. He's lost all of his business. He doesn't work anymore. There was one point at which he couldn't even afford to keep the bills on, which is very, very common for fathers. So yes, I can sympathise fully with fathers' plights and children's plights, of course.
Hi, my name's Clara Hosu. I'm a University of Warwick student. I'm in my 2nd year and I study law, and one of my modules is family law.
Why do women get more custody over their children than men do?
It's generally that courts will always give children to their primary caregiver, so that's generally the mother. So it's more of a reflection on how society allocates caregiving within children than more of the courts actually saying that they want to give children to the mother.
Do you think that's fair?
Generally, I think so, because all the courts are trying to do is just they're just mainly concerned with the welfare of the child. So if you're always with one parent, or that one parent is your primary caregiver, is it right to justify moving them from where they're comfortable and just causing discomfort to their lives? It's a lot of stress, and it's just a lot of unnecessary, just always arguing in court.
In what situation be in the custody of the dad or the father?
If they can show that they're the primary caregiver of the child, because obviously nowadays it's moving towards more of a trend where it's not always the mother that's always looking after the child. Fathers, they contribute a lot. So if the father can prove that, and also in cases where the father can prove that the mother as like an unfit mother, even though she might be the primary caregiver. She might not have a suitable home. She might not be able to give the kids what they need. So that's what the courts look at. They look at necessarily to be with their mother or their father.